doing it, but just doing it, and it's sort of fundamental painting to me. The next sort of sub-series, as I found that the groups sort of evolved into a series of emotions and reactions, but there was also, lots of pets died, tens of thousands were left behind, and many perished. That's hard to read, but on the card spray painted, 1 dead dog, 2 dead cats, 1 dead bird. This one, it says 5 dogs, a dead bird. Unfortunately, it's just hard to read in the projection. This was also an important slide. This was probably the first image where I realized something important with people's words was happening. The efficiency, the minimal use of words, of letters, to convey a lot of information. I found this really cold and almost brutal, but really powerful. Basically, 9:30 is the date that the SPCA was there, and they found 2 canines, 2 dogs dead on arrival. This is hard to see in this light, but I shot this at night with a small flash, and it just says "dead dog" with an arrow pointing to the back of a house. From the dead pets, there was dead people. I don't know if you can read this back there. It says possible body. And then I found everywhere from Mississippi Gulf Coast all the way to the lower 9 of Louisiana. Rest in peace, RIP. This is Rip Thomas Burke. This says St. Bernard killed Carol. St. Bernard perished, not a St. Bernard dog. And this is the only break in the book where I did a little editorial, which is I put in a little cinematic sequence to rupture this sort of flow that I'd created. At one point, I was going to actually use "fuck you" as the cover of the book. And then there was a certain kind of anger and fury just at the world. Another really compelling discovery is all the way from the Mississippi Gulf Coast to Louisiana, to New Orleans. I saw similar messages in places that other people could not have seen. So I found that really strange, and you'll see as we go on there's other similarities. This actually says "I am alive." And Michael, where are you? With a phone number. Found this really interesting. A lot, almost like texting, but people would just put their name, often the first name, and just the phone number. So, means of communicating that they were okay or how to be reached. This is hard to read. It's 4571347 Jane. Con todo mi corazón. While I was there, I started to see life come back. This has birds, and I started to see single dogs or maybe packs of dogs, cats. While I was there for the first 6 weeks, I didn't see anybody except for 3 National Guardsmen for the whole time. It was like a bad post-apocalyptic movie, like I Am Legend or something. There's actually a little cat on the front stoop there that somebody had put out a napkin for them, a little blanket. This one's really hard to read from there, but it's basically the boat owner left a note for the car owner saying, "Could you please remove your car carefully? Thank you very much." What's amazing is that the car looks like it's just been washed, and it has its sunscreen to protect it from too much sun exposure. And then one of the upsides of the book is there was a lot of humor. It actually was a really remarkable thing to see that there was so much humor there, and it showed the resilience of the people. Quite powerful. It's hard to read. Somebody wrote "yard sale" on the side of the tree. This is Lost Our Asses. This one in the photograph, you can actually see somebody had taken witch's boots, probably a Halloween prop, and leggings, and put it under this house that had blown into the street. It's actually a house sitting in the middle of the street. And then I'm not sure when this happened and who did it and what they were thinking when they did it, but then of course there's a car that's propped on the edge of the fence there. Saw lots of Elvises left the house all over. This says garage sale 50% off. Then, of course, there was a political component. Somebody spray painted, "Yep, Brownie, you did a heck of a job." "I will rebuild this house, then vote out corrupt, lazy politicians." This on the card actually says "Revolution Now" and "Katrina, you bitch." And another important component of this, and that's gone, I think, unnoticed pretty much, was the anger towards the insurance companies, which was really widespread. When I first got to the Mississippi Gulf Coast, some of the people were saying that if they had flood insurance, the insurance companies claimed that the damage was caused by the winds and the hurricane, that if you had wind insurance or hurricane insurance, they claimed that it was caused by the flood. So a lot of people found that they weren't covered, even though they thought they were. So this just says State Farm on the side of the... somebody wrote that to get their attention. This is sold to Liberty Mutual as is. This basically says, State Farm, call me, like a jilted lover. The final sequence in the book is, I guess I consider almost an existential sort of thing. People just spewing something to the elements. I don't know who wrote this or why. Maybe it was God writing. I'm not sure. This is actually a crucifix in a dumpster, and somebody had spray painted, which is fading, is keep the faith, and then we will rebuild. In the exhibition prints, and in this sequence, the last two, What Now and Destroy This Memory, come at the end of the project. In the book, I actually put What Now on the back cover of the book and Destroy This Memory on the front cover, and Destroy This Memory then becomes the default title for the book. I thought it was a really amazing title. I think what they wrote was just amazing. The fact that it's in cursive. It's really quite unusual, I would think. And but the double entendre for what photography does, of course, it maintains the memory, which the book did. It's I don't know if you remember Abby Hoffman's book, Steal This Book, but to me, when I put Destroy This Memory on the cover, it sort of harkened back to that. This is the last photograph, but what I wanted to do is a couple months ago, when the show opened at the New Orleans Museum of Art, the night before the show opened, I got an email that was forwarded to me from Aperture. See if I can read it. And it pertains to this photograph. My name is Brenda Kelt. I used to live in St. Bernard Parish before Katrina.